James Lynch here for MMA Oddsbreaker and the Parting Shot podcast. And one of the questions I always get asked being up here in Canada is which fighters we should be keeping an eye on here north of the border and which fighters could be UFC bound very soon. And with the UFC going to Ottawa for the very first time on June 18th, I figured it was a great opportunity to highlight some of this country's finest fighters. Let's start first in the flyweight division, and we've got Austin Ryan, 24 years old, 6-0, hailing from Red Deer, Alberta. 5 of his 6 wins are by stoppage, including victories over Randy Turner and Malcolm Gordon. And the Gordon victory was significant, guys, because he was the last person to defeat UFC flyweight Chris Kalades outside the UFC. Austin is currently slated to fight on that Triumph FC card coming up here on April 22nd against an unnamed opponent. Sticking in the flyweight division, we've got Yoni Sherbatov, 27 years old, 5-0, hailing from Laval, Quebec. 4 of his 5 wins are by stoppage, and he only needed 34 seconds to knock out Canadian pioneer Adrian Woolley in his last fight. He's set to take on World Series of Fighting veteran Tyson Nam at Triumph FC on April 22nd. Now, if he gets the win there, don't be surprised if he gets a UFC call-up. Yoni is a guy that you cannot miss. Let's move up to the bantamweight division, and I'm going to exclude BIBIANO Fernandes from this list because he's not born in Canada, but he is an awesome guy, 1 FC champ. Definitely can't deny his talents. But let's go with Josh Hill, 13-1 fighter from Hamilton, Ontario. He splits time between House of Champions and Team Alpha Male in California. His only pro loss is to current World Series of Fighting champion Marlon Moraes, where he endured a close decision. Since that fight, he's won 4 straight. He's got 2 fights coming up in the next 3 months, so hopefully the gentleman can make some noise. Let's talk about Jesse Arnett, 10-4, originally from Mission, BC, now training in Calgary and is currently the Hard Knocks Bantamweight champion. He is riding a 7-fight win streak with 6 of those being finishes. One of those wins during that streak is over former UFC bantamweight Roland Delorme. This guy finishes fights and he has the personality that fans will love, so definitely keep an eye out for this guy. Let's go to the featherweight division, and we'll start with Hakeem Dawodu, 24 years old, 5-0-1. This guy is a killer. All of his wins are by knockout. A lot of fighters on the regional circuit do not want to fight this guy. Let's hope the World Series of Fighting books this guy sooner rather than later. And let's talk about Lenny Wheeler, 9-3, 29 years old, training out of Wolfern MMA with Matt MacGrath and Jason Sago. He's never gone the distance in his career, and he's coming off a huge win over Matt Bissett last year at CES 30. Let's talk about the unified featherweight champion Sabah Fadai. He's 11-4 and he's won 3 straight fights. He was slated to take on Marcus Brimage in his last fight, but unfortunately that card got canceled. Now he's taking on Tito Jones April 22nd on that Triumph FC card. And sticking with the province of British Columbia, we've got Jeremy Kennedy, 23 years old, 7-0, and is the BFL featherweight champion. If he racks up a win or 2 against a notable veteran here or there, don't be surprised if Kennedy is a guy that you see in the UFC very soon. And Parwiz Gulam, 6-2, 25 years old, the former unified champion. He's training at Complete Martial Arts and Fitness with guys like Sheldon Westcott and Mitch Clark. All of his wins are by stoppage, and he is also slated to appear on that Triumph FC card against an unknown opponent. Let's go to the lightweight division, and Andrew McInnes, 6-1. He also trains at Complete Martial Arts and Fitness. He's going to be taking on Tom Galicchio. You might remember him from The Ultimate Fighter. April 22nd at Triumph FC. That's actually going to be the main event, and it should also be noted that McInnes, 5 of his 6 wins are coming by submission. Staying with the lightweight division, we've got Kyle Prepolec, 26 years old, 9-4, and he's coming off a huge win over Adrian Hadrabey, where he knocked him out in the 4th round, and he also trains at a very prestigious camp at MTC out in Windsor. Let's move up to the welterweight division, and we've got Matt MacGrath, the ex-FFC welterweight champion. He's 17-8 on a 7-fight win streak, and he hasn't lost since 2011. He's taking on Jesse Ronson, a UFC veteran at ex-FFC 9. If MacGrath gets a win here, it's possible we could see him on that UFC Ottawa card and join his teammate Jason Sago. Speaking of Ronson, his next 2 fights are at welterweight, so he definitely makes this list. He's 2-1 since leaving the UFC, but always puts on a show. If he gets an impressive finish in either of those fights, don't be surprised to see the body snatcher back in the UFC. Let's move up to the heavyweight division, and we've got Shlomio Rama, 23 years old, the former World Series of Fighting heavyweight champion. Now, he hasn't fought at all this year, but he has an impressive 9-2 record. If he can get some more fights in 2016, don't be surprised if he's a guy the UFC takes a look at, because the heavyweight division in the UFC definitely needs some up-and-coming talent. Finally, last but not least, we've got Tanner Boser, 24 years old, 9-1, coming off a win over veteran Tim Hague, UFC veteran Tim Hague. He's fighting heavyweight champion Tony Lopez in May at Unified 27. If he gets a win there, Boser is a guy you would have to consider that would go to the UFC. He's got a good personality. He likes to knock out fighters. He's a guy I would be looking at if I was the UFC. So what do you guys think of this list? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Was there anyone I missed? Be sure to let me know in the comment section below, and you can also hit me up on Twitter at Lynch on Sports. Guys, share, repost, get this video out there, get the UFC's attention. We need some more Canadian talent in the UFC. The talent's there. It's just a matter of getting the right opportunity. So I thank you for watching this, and tune in next time.